I really felt the urge to make this video. There's going to be lots of pauses and breaks in it because talking about something like this is really intricate. I don't want to say difficult, I want to say intricate. Putting actual verbiage and words together. I know people imagine the Akashic records in many different ways. Like I've heard the analogy of, as my friend Emma said it, computer sit down is like internet, but everything. That's exactly what it is. But for me, since I have such a love and deep connection to books, it's actually a library in my head. And when I first accessed said library, it was like being on one of those escalators, but the escalator can move any direction. Like you don't have to walk. I like walking on it. But it moves you through the library itself. And there are an infinite amount of bookcases. Imagine kind of like Interstellar in that one scene towards the end when he goes in a black hole. Like that, but it looks way freaking cooler. And this library possesses all the information about everything from the planet, the universe, what we're made of, people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, history, memories, personality types, archetypes. It is everything. It is like the center of everything. And see, when you can access these records, not only can you, as some people, predict the future, because time is fluid. The only thing that exists is this moment. But you can also tap into the memories and the history of things. And that's kind of like reading the prelogue to a story. If you can read the prelogue to a story, or pick up bits and pieces of information, it helps put together the current story or timeline that you are in. And see, like anything, you can change the timeline you're in based on the information that you possess, not only about what led up to that point, but also other timelines and stories, and picking out and seeing different patterns and things. And all of this is at your fingertips when you have access to Akashic records. But see, not everybody has access to these things, because we all have access to our own Akashic records, and by universal law, we don't have the right to read other people's personal Akashic records. However, there are exceptions, and there's a reason behind that, which I will get to in a second. But first, I'm going to tell my personal story. So when I first started accessing Akashic records, it was like the escalator and all the bookcases flying all over the place. And at first, there was nobody else in the library, or I didn't notice people, or things, or entities, or vibrations. When you first access that kind of knowledge, we still have a bit of ego, so you kind of want to look at things you really want to know about, so you tend to fail to notice all the beautiful things around you. How I'd access information is, I just imagine myself walking through on this escalator, and my hands are out and the bookcases are flying by, and always whatever I needed to know somehow ended up in my hand, whether it was a piece of paper I had to read information on, a sight, a smell, a sound, a feeling, but it seemed like if I just put my intentions out there and put my hands out in the 5D and was actively thinking about what I'd like to know, and it was like all of this information would just rush through every little bit of the universe to end up in my hand. And as I accessed the records more and more frequently, I became better at doing so. And it took less time. And as it took less time, I started getting interested, and I didn't start just going to the records in the library for information that I needed in that moment. I went because I was generally interested and wanted to explore. And that's when I realized how much freaking infinitely bigger everything in this freaking universe is. It's amazing. Like, my hand is literally shaking right now when you realize how much more knowledge and just how infinite we are. And how much more than 3D? This 3D is shit compared to what we really are. And as I access the records more frequently on the accord of just gathering knowledge and learning, I started meeting and meditating with all these beautiful energies in this universe who divulged lots of really, like, not only personal information but just so much wisdom on me that I just desperately wanted to share and try to share with people in ways they understand. Imagine my surprise when today I was just doing some protective measures and kind of securing things, because when you are allowed and can tap into and have access to that, you also need to do your job to protect it. And that's required of you. Otherwise, you're not able to tap in. It's only bestowed upon people who genuinely want not only the best for everybody and everything in this world, but appreciates and recognizes the significance of just the offering, the ability to do that. And because you are offered that, it's your job and responsibility to also protect it. But imagine my surprise when I go and I access that today and I find out that I've been created my own part of the library. I no longer have to search for anything. It's all given to me. All I have to do is I go to my part of the library, and I imagine it's like, it's hard to explain what my part of the library looks like. It's just as big as the rest of the library because it is the library. I imagine walking in and those Rolodexes, you know, like the ones that spin, right? But they're about 12 feet long and they're fucking golden. And they have different little sections and parts which are interchangeable and can mix with all the other Rolodexes and books and things. It's all interchangeable. And whatever I need, that Rolodex, it has, it's separated into like different sections, like emotions, people, things. But the thing is, you can click it and change it, like almost like a code to opening up a scroll, right? But it's not like a puzzle anymore to me. It simply is click, 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 click. Oh, open up. And I don't have to freaking search or anything. It's like, this is what I need. This is what I want. What in the world? It's so hard trying to explain things like this, but like, I know a lot of people have questions about stuff like this, but this is like just simply how I imagine things and how I access that kind of information. And I think it's really important that we share how we individually do stuff like that to like-minded, to the right kind of people, because it helps expand our consciousness and who we are. But back to what I said earlier, how we're only allowed to access our own records, and I said there are exceptions. I can say, with no ego involved, that I'm an exception. There are very few individuals and energies out there that are able to tap into any of the records, because it is not done in a malicious way. It's not done in a manipulating way. It does not stem from ego at all. It stems from the genuine need and desire to elevate all consciousness in creation. And individuals like that are constantly attacked. Constantly just stuff trying to suck the life out of them in any shape, way, or form. But those individuals are also divinely protected, because there is a reason behind why they're able to access all that information. It's because they have an incredible freaking destiny. Just like I know so many people freaking also have incredible destiny. They are allowed access to that because it is for the betterment of all. And in the end, it's not about us as individuals. It's about us as a full, encompassing community of like-minded vibrations and energies. Unfortunately, there are some forms of consciousness and people, they'll never be able to vibrate like at that. And then there's so many more that have that potential, but they're stuck, they're lost in that karmic cycles and just destruction and mindsets that trap them. And it's our job as those of us who are able to not only tap into Akashic records, but read cards, see things, hear things, feel energies. It's our job and responsibility to assist and guide those who truly want to grow and understand, so we can raise the vibration of our planet. Well, how do we raise our vibration? Simple. Well, it's not simple, but simple. The more you do it, the simpler it is. Keep your energy high. Keep your spirits high. Constantly look to grow yourself. When you make a mistake, do not be afraid to admit that mistake and then grow from it. Help people out of the genuineness of your heart without expecting anything in return. Be grateful. That's the number one thing. Be grateful to Spirit and to everything that we have and what we don't have. Because you know what? At the end of the day, all we have is that connection to Spirit and our higher self.